The animosity between them escalated.
Shelley complained to her sister that Rod would get really angry and seem out of control.
Turn that off.
She said she's going through hell.
How do I turn the camera around?
And so she felt that he was hacking in, reading her emails, and the family had said Shelley felt she was being watched. She felt that he had some kind of a camera set up in the hallway. She'd show up, leave, and he would be right there. Her family can't help but wonder if Shelley's death wasn't an accident. Could Rod actually be capable of murder? There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and I knew I had to get into that apartment. The apartment was still sealed. Part of the department procedure, and that there's nobody else in the apartment. We sealed the apartment. So we got permission from the court, and we were able
I think I'm gonna do 8.5 inches.
Had the key, but a tricky lock. After multiple attempts have been made to get into the apartment, the door across the hall opens.
What time is it?
Out comes Rod Kaufman. The first thing that went through my mind was that we were being monitored.
12:18. Nobody's here.
Surprisingly, he walked over and took the key. And jiggle, lift up, lift down, and he knew exactly what to do. Upon entering, Swain begins looking for any indications of foul play. And at the family's request, he's also looking for Shelley's cell phone, which the NYPD hadn't found in their original search of the apartment.
Oh yeah, let's look at this too. This is gonna be bigger.
Looking in drawers, the side of the bed, usual places.
If I keep that original design.
Where people would normally plug in the phone.
Right? Right.
No phone attached to it, so we couldn't find it.
But I need
And
the
then focused on the bed.
cross to be right about there.
Cabinet door, Mike Swain has an epiphany. I just was trying to grasp.
Alright, let's see how many inches that is.
Small, light woman was going to be able to yank
That's
that
not long
out.
enough.
It would have taken tremendous force. How during this accidental slip and fall, arms going up in the air, were you able with one
That's
hand
about
to grab that little knob?
8.5, close to 9 inches. Hey, we got some people in here. What's up? I'm making a guitar strap out of a rattlesnake. So I took the contact cement. I use this right here. I use this brand of contact cement and use the contact cement to. If you give me a second, I'll show you the end goal. I made one not too long ago. In fact, just finished it Saturday night, or maybe. So I'll show you here's what it's supposed to look like. This is the one that I just finished. This is ostrich. And so, but this one had buttons on it still. So, if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll. Hey, it's Maya. How are you? So there's what I just finished. So this one doesn't have the rattles on it, obviously. So this is what I'm going with. I've got all this ostrich right here, so I'll probably stick with that. So anyway, but yeah, that's the end goal. It's Mia. How are you, Mia? Is it Maya or Mia? Got the TV on, sorry. Anyway, so this one didn't have. Oh, everybody left. So anyway, that was quick. But I'll cover this with ostrich, and that'll also help keep this from curling up. Anyway, so this is the first time I made one of these. So this is what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. Let's see. So I still have to put the leather down. I just put the contact cement on this one. So should look similar to that one there. I just need to add the extra leather here. Like again, that's ostrich if you weren't here. Uh-oh. So I use that ostrich leather to hold down, this part. So now this one, again, I said this earlier, doesn't have the buttons on it. So I'll have to add extra leather to the side or to the end here. So nose. That's fire. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Pretty big snakes, Western Diamondback. I'll show you where I got them. Show you where I got I went right out here, and the odds are I'll find another one right here. I came out the front door and went to go get the dogs, and the little rascal was right there, sprawled out. Well, it's not wanting to focus, but anyway, I went to go get my dogs out of the pen there, and the little rascal was strung out. So I made a guitar strap out of it. So anywho, hey, thanks for hitting the like button. I appreciate that. Whoever did that. That's fire. Man, I appreciate y'all. Uh-oh, everybody left. I should have stuck with what I was doing. Thanks for hitting the like button. I really appreciate it. Adrian Ferris, pretty big snakes, Western Diamondbacks. Yeah, I'm here in outside of Amarillo. Are you still here? I don't know how to check who's here like I did on TikTok. TikTok has a little deal where I can look to see who all's here. But yeah, so this one will be going to be quite a bit different since I don't have the button. And you can see where it's uneven right there. So I'll probably... man, I don't know what I'm going to do. But the idea is to... I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to figure something out since... but this is the one that I just finished. So starting another one. So I'll put the ostrich up there on the tip like this one here. I'll keep telling me to. Anyway. Boy, people don't stick around here very long, do they? It's Maya Judd 2577. Anyway. It says that somebody's in here. Pop fans.
So there was a whole investigation.
Oh, thanks for subscribing too. That was really cool. Somebody subscribed, I think. Somebody's here. Alright, so let me get back to making this thing. My new guitar too, by the way, if you're new here. But don't tell anybody, but this one's for my dad. For this guitar. So it'll go here. Oh, everybody's gone.
His devious plan to discredit Shelley to get custody of their children backfires. In July, the couple appear at divorce court, and when the judge learns about Rod's schemes, she makes a severe ruling.
Rod could not be around his children alone. He was only permitted to see the children so long as there was supervision.
Thanks for hitting the like button, by the way. I appreciate the likes and stuff and subscribing. It's hard to get subscribers on YouTube. So that's the end goal. And then there's the ostrich leather that, or I guess it's ostrich skin or whatever, but anyway, so that's the end goal.
Shelley's sister really wanted to have the children, but the children went to the custody of...
Alright, so let's get back to work. What do you say? I need to... Alright, so my next step is to... Probably, I don't know if I need to make another template or not, but this one's not long enough. So, time to make a decision. Use that same template, or because I think I want that thing about a little bit longer than that. Thanks for hitting the like button, whoever did that. It's impossible to get likes and subscribers on YouTube. YouTube's just a weird format, man. Nobody likes and subscribes. You gotta do something stupid to get a comment. But I think I want... I don't know. What do you think? Is that too far? That looks like a lot to me. Got 3 people. Heck yeah. How y'all doing? Where y'all from? 2 people. Where y'all from? I usually go live on TikTok, but I've kind of just had my fill of them lately, so figured I'd try YouTube. YouTube is so complicated. People don't like, they don't comment, they don't subscribe, they don't... I mean, it's just hard. It's like pulling teeth to get anything out of YouTube. Yeah, like see, I've been on here for like almost 15 minutes. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 comments and 1 like. I don't understand YouTube.
That was his last opportunity to save his daughter her money.
Anyway.
He was desperate. And he knew that...
So, I think what I'm going to do is make this thing just a little bit longer.
If you read this in a book, you wouldn't believe it.
He was willing to kill his own parents.
Alright, let's see. I got to make a decision on the length. I think it looks pretty cool right there. So, I think I do need to make a new something like that. What's the total length on that right there, you know? that's it. It's hitting the tip right there. That's it right there. Takes it to 10 1/4. Right? Yeah, that's at 10 1/4. Still not sure what I'm gonna do about that tail down there. So just a little bit longer than this one here. So I think I'm gonna go with that longer 10 1/4 on this. Get all this stuff off there. Okay, so I need to do something with this too, but maybe I thought about dyeing this and like putting initials, stamping initials in it to put right there. I don't know. Any comments? Again, thanks to the person who hit the like button. It's very rare for people to interact on YouTube. People on YouTube don't subscribe, they don't like, and they don't comment. It's very weird. I'm used to TikTok where people are just, they go bananas with questions. It would get kind of annoying, but now I kind of miss that. I do kind of miss the interaction on TikTok, I guess. I just got burned out on TikTok. And I still don't know what to do about that. The length I've got to make up on the tail. I do not know what I'm going to do with that. Any ideas from the no comment section? But I am waiting for the contact cement to dry. So we'll just see what it looks like tomorrow. Some of the diamonds are really weird looking. You see that? It's kind of defected. You ever seen a defective diamondback?
And the timing of her death confirms a certain suspicion that Shelley had shared with her family.
He would never have known that she was there.
So, yeah, I think I'll do,
Unless he was monitoring her communications.
I don't know.
He was already setting you up. He knew exactly what he was going to do.
As a suspect in Shelley's murder, Rod can't touch.
Probably do. I don't know how to make that go away. There it goes. So, I've got to decide whether I want to make another template or try to use this one because it's several inches short. I guess I could, I think I could make it work. Let's see here. Let me put my mandolin up here. And I'll use it to draw. So we can put this down and move my water. Okay, so let me move all this stuff. That's another thing. I hand stitch that, and that's a lot of stitching to do by hand. I mean, that's a lot of stitching to do by hand. And I had to go around the buttons. But that was a lot. But I think it was worth it because I think it looks really good. I think that's empty. I do have this too. I've got this. Oh, nobody here. Yeah, it's impossible to get people to stick around. Kind of looks purple there, doesn't it?
It belongs to a woman.
Deborah Owens was a married mother of 3 children. She met Rod at a back-end engagement.
5 months before Shelley's murder, not long after Rod is served with divorce papers, he begins a relationship with
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Welcome. I'm trying to.
seeing each other at competitions.
Never mind.
She visits him.
Boy, they were out of here quick.
And when they aren't physically together, they're playing backgammon online.
On the night of Shelley's murder, she's on a computer with playback.
Let's see if that's 10 and a half.
There's an exchange of
10 and a quarter, I think. 10 and a quarter is what I wanted.
that were deleted. So I called and I explained why, but she said, my lawyer says that I cannot speak to you.
And when our guys find out who our lawyer is, it's clear that the gameplay is later.
It was wrong. Well, same time. So, for obvious reasons, the whole becomes a serious focal.
Thank you for liking, by the way. Thanks for the like.
But with Rod's lawyer by her side,
Appreciate that. I think somebody pulled my fingers in the way. Anyway, so I'm trying to get that ostrich laid out for the.
investigators execute search warrants on Rod's phone and computers. But everything, including the phone, that mysteriously
So,
appeared in Shelley's
golly, everybody's going.
His devices were cleaned up. And so we weren't really finding much useful information, despite some of the smartest tech wizards on earth working on this.
Why can't we find a smoking gun? It's obvious who did it. Why can't you just prove it?
Just trying to figure out how to put this back together.
Oh yeah, you're looking at one of the newest reasons to love Red Lobster. New seafood boys, turning crab fest into a crab feast. That's the look of real happiness. Served daily only at Red Lobster.
Plain leaves, exceptional nutrition, fuels more than hazy.
Okay. Well, somebody came in, so I was going to shut it down. Trying to get the ends covered. So,
Wednesday Adams. My meal of misfortune is now at Wendy's. It's pure torture with uniquely excruciating dips and treats. Enjoy me.
but the total length needs to be 10 and a quarter. So let me see where I can get 10 and a quarter out of.
Halloween softness, long-lasting familiar freshness. That's the Snuggle promise. Snuggle, the
past this? Nope. I don't know how to get that fold out of there. See that deadgum fold? I think that... I don't know how to get that out of there. That sucks.
With Home Chef, home cooking is so simple, you go from step one to done with practically no fuss. And now,
Trying to make that one.
stress-free meals with our family members.
So let's see here, 10 1/4.
Family friendly flavors take the stress out of mealtime with easy prep and easy cleanup. Simply prep, cook, and enjoy with the whole family. Delicious means simple. Get 18 free meals today at homechef.com.
Back in 2017, forgot my nonstick pan. Totally forgot that I left the pan on an open flame. I started smelling fumes and smoke. From this experience, got really inspired to find an alternative to Teflon, and with that, Fairway Home was born.
Maybe something like that. What do y'all think? Yes, no, maybe. But it needs to be 10 1/4, which is right there. Can I get enough from that? Yeah, I think so. If I pull it to the side, I can. And that would be from here to here.
Impacted my hair. I experienced postpartum shedding, and Nutrafol had a formula for that. My hair has changed throughout my life, so I'm grateful Nutrafol has a product targeted for whatever I'm going through.
Weekends this month are all new.
That's 10 1/4 right there. I don't need that much though, do I?
This is a pretty small town with big secrets.
Who in their right mind? Who could do that to a human?
I don't need 10 1/4, do I?
There's a body in a well, there's a body in a flower bed. How do you get justice for things like this? He says that's not wrong. That's bogus.
That was too much. I didn't need 10 1/4.
Oxygen true crime.
Or did I?
Without circumstantial evidence, linking the Shelley Cobb to her estranged husband Rod, weeks turned to months, and months turned into years. And the investigation is
Typically, when someone is killed, there's a ton of evidence that's collected. In this case, this was initially treated as an accident.
Pretty big snake, Western
And so
Diamondback.
there was no DNA. There were
Yes,
no
Western
fingerprints
Diamondbacks.
collected, and the rabbi wiped all of that evidence away.
if in fact
So I'm going to the tip there.
there's never going to confess.
And so it was really difficult for the prosecution to build a case from which there was no evidence.
It's kind of frustrating.
So really all I need is get it up here to 9 inches maybe.
One can only imagine the frustrations of the family, almost growing numb to it. Will this ever
What the impossibilities of
In summer of
YouTube.
2014, detectives get a phone call that renews hope.
Deborah Holtz, Rod's girlfriend, calls me and says, I need to talk to you.
Okay, so that's good.
Deborah and Rod had broken up a few months earlier. Free from Rod's tyranny, she could finally come forward.
For the next 3 days, we interviewed her extensively.
What if I did 9 right on the money?
Rod told her about his plans and schemes to gain custody of his children by any means.
But it's not about any sort of desire to be a father.
Ron Collins' motivation in all of this is always about money.
Rod can't access his inheritance until the district attorney deems that he's no longer a suspect in Shelley's murder. But Shelley had put money aside for the kids in their own trust.
In order for him to have control of that trust, he had to have custody of his children.
plans that this man had, and what he was prepared to do, the only one word adjective that I can give to it, Rod, is evil.
He has this plan to convince
Well, let's
his
do
daughter
9 1/4, like if it was right here.
to simulate a rape and blame her grandfather, and then he would go to jail. At this point, the little girl's about
9 1/4.
and thank God the little girl couldn't bring herself to do this whole thing, and so that never occurred.
As he continues to scheme for the trust, Rod takes money from the kids' college funds.
To 9 1/2, maybe.
He has access to. And when his parents catch on, a fight breaks out. Secretly,
Right there.
I know I'm taking from your children. You threatened us with no, I'm not threatening.
Look, you're screwing these kids out of their money. Why don't you get in a farm?
His rage shifted from being about Shelley when she was alive to now being focused on his parents because they stood in the way of him getting Shelley's money.
He's beginning to dissemble, and he starts planning to kill his parents.
In 2012, he had come up with a plan that he shared with Deborah that he would have his daughter put rat poison in his parents' tea. And he told Deborah that his daughter would not get that much time in jail based on her age if she were caught.
Deborah dissuaded him from doing that. But Deborah told us that there was another plan in the fall of 2012 where he buys an afro wig and blackface makeup. So he was going to go ring the doorbell, and he knew that his mother would answer the door. He was going to punch her in the throat too. But that never happened.
He also considered setting his parents' home on fire.
His parents would both die in the flames.
The plots and plans that Rod had.
I think 9 1/2 inches is going to be perfect. What do you think? 9 1/2.
We felt like we had to really accelerate our investigation because he was becoming unhinged. God only knows what his next plan will be.
And Deborah doesn't just give detectives the horror stories. She's got proof to back everything up.
She had 5 or 6 external hard drives that
Yeah, let's go 9 1/2.
filled with stuff from his computers
Alright, so the filler is going to be this
to keep
ostrich.
I'm going to track down every person he corresponded with over email.
It looks kind of good grief.
And they got people talking.
There was a woman that used to work, and he told her he had a key from Shelley's apartment, and he could come and go whenever he wanted. Which, of course, was a huge revelation. There was just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things that we that when all put together,
I could use this.
an extremely formidable case.
And then, investigators discover an email that brings the case against Rod Cobb one step closer to home.
In June of 2013,
Could always
he
try
was trying to frame his own daughter of having
filling all that up with this.
He drafted an email in her email account confessing to the death.
It's your time. Your blood. I'm life from that children. Something bad is going to happen because he's desperate. And if we don't do something before that happens, that's on us.
We're gonna get you. This is endgame, and it's coming soon.
That is how he lived a permanent stay. So that is a loss to you.
New series premieres August 15th on USA.
Okay, not right. 100% real cheese. Okay, somebody please eat this thing. Right. Want it, eat it, cheese it. Patients who have sensitive teeth but also want whiter teeth, they have to make a choice, one versus the other. Sensodyne Clinical White provides 2 shades whiter teeth as well as providing 24/7 sensitivity protection. Patients are going to love to see Sensodyne on the shelf.
I'm here to talk to you about something incredibly important. My favorite puzzle game, Royal Kingdom. You see, I'm a bit of a puzzle enthusiast. Royal Kingdom is not just another puzzle game, it's a whole new level of challenge. Yes, means unlimited fun.
Yeah, I fell. Okay, there's bandages in the cabinet. I'm bleeding. Grab 2.
Sheila, what cats want?
Dry, brittle hair? New Pantene Damage Repair formulas are infused with provitamins, argan, and jojoba oils to repair weak inner hair bonds for stronger, healthier hair. Without the $90 price tag, it's intensive care for your hair. Pantene.
Honey, your mouth and eyes are moving again. Yeah, let's go talk to your doctor. We learned that uncontrollable movements are called tardive dyskinesia, or TD, and were caused by Derek's mental health medications. Derek was prescribed Austedo XR, a once-daily extended-release pill for adults. Austedo XR can significantly reduce TD movements, with some symptom responses as early as 2 weeks, and he can stay on his mental health medications.
Austedo XR can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to
Alright, so let me see if I can get 9.5.
sudden changes in mood or have suicidal thoughts. Don't take if you have liver problems or taking reserpine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness. If you see TD, ask about Austedo XR.
I forgot to wash my worksheet.
Just wear it again. I added Unstoppable. It keeps our clothes fresh all day.
Ooh, I'm gonna be feeling it at work today. She smells like I'm actually paying attention. Smell unstoppable.
Let's see what scissors go.
6 years after the murder of Shelley down in Jefferson County, police finally have enough evidence against the crime suspect from the beginning. Her husband, Ron Collins. The icing on the cake? An email he drafted pretending to be his daughter, confessing to her mother's murder.
He wrote, I lied. She didn't just slip. That day we got into a fight about her dating. I got mad, so I pushed her. But water started turning red, and I tried to pull her head up, but she remained still.
I won't see comments like that, will I?
That a father would attempt to abuse his daughter is
So we presented the case to the grand jury. Circumstantial cases are always tricky. There was a
Let me
long
raise that level up just a little bit.
bad, but there was no smoke. And so he was indicted for murder in second degree.
After so many years of pain, doubt, and fear, on November 1st, 2015, Rod was arrested at the Scarsdale train station.
He went in the cell and lay down on the bench, off the sleeping one. That's always an interesting tell. It happens almost every single time when someone's guilty. Because psychologically, they're carrying this weight around, and there's a sort of sense of relief that they don't have to play this game any longer.
Trying to get an idea.
I did go to the trial, but when I saw Calvin sitting there with his attorney, it really, really upset my whole being. I just left. I knew that the government has a strong case, but he is extremely, extremely manipulative. The guy can talk his way out of everything. And if anybody can get away with murder, it's Rod Calvin.
Okay, that's where I want the bottom of the cross to be.
An inmate informed
cross. Get that off my eyeballs.
You got the video surveillance from that particular day, and there was Rod demonstrating how you could kill somebody by putting your arm around their neck like this and squeezing it out, which was exactly
So from the bottom of the cross
evidence that was discovered.
is
Over the next 7 weeks, the jury is presented with chilling testimonies detailing the horrific lengths that Rod Calvin went to for Shelley's money.
6 3/4.
I've worked on 1,500 murder cases in the many years I was in the police department. He's the worst human being that I've ever had to encounter because he did so many
Bottom of the
bad
cross.
things to his own children in his
2.
infinite greed.
In March
Top of the cross right there.
after 2 days of deliberations, jurors come back with a verdict.
Is how many
When I
inches?
saw Rod with his defense attorneys, I saw poker face,
Just short of.
but I knew he was soiling his pants.
Right there.
Collins found guilty by injury for murder in second degree.
I was delayed trying to give closure to the family.
Shelley's family wept, hugged each other. It was clearly an emotional time for them.
They got what they deserved, and they got justice. It was a good feeling to see that.
Rod Calvin is sentenced to 25 years to life.
This is over. Shelley's got her justice. God has given us justice. I remember she just had a beautiful smile. She was a presence in the room. There was a sense of love and happiness and joy in the air. That joy, unfortunately, is gone. And we miss that. We miss that very, very much. This thing should have never happened. Should have never happened. Never.
Never. It's ostrich for the rattlesnake.
A young woman's body was found along the banks of the Delaware River. Her body was just mangled. I knew right away she came from the bridge above.
Then they need to sit
Any comments? No new comments, of
way
course.
down there for God only knows how long.
Police learned her job could have put her in a risky situation.
YouTube is
She's the girl next door. People will love it.
There was the possibility that Rachel just fell in with some shady characters who showed up.
Any questions? No question.
Death threat to Rachel.
We got one like. Not bad for 44 minutes worth of work.
She did herself up. There wasn't a better looking girl in that place. He had this obsession with Rachel.
4 comments, 1 like. Boy, YouTube is tough, man.
Lights light up the back of the truck where you can see a small female wearing jeans and a sweater.
For prosecutors, this is enough.
Let's go.
The vast Philly metro area spans about 4,600 square miles and borders 3 other states. So naturally, there are times when neighboring jurisdictions must join forces in the pursuit of justice. That's what happened in 2000, when a young resident of the Philadelphia area was found murdered just on the other side of the river in New Jersey.
There are portions of New Jersey that are like a suburb to Philadelphia. Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and Burlington County, New Jersey. Essentially neighboring counties divided by the Delaware River.
enforcement community is a small community. A lot of people who work in New Jersey in law enforcement know people who work in Pennsylvania law enforcement. There's close communication and close collaboration. It's a brotherhood.
On April 1st, 2000, this man was riding ATVs along a marshy, wooded area below the Turnpike Bridge on the New Jersey side. As he was riding around, he noticed the body of a small Caucasian woman, maybe about 100 pounds, lying face down in the bushes. When he realizes what he's found, he calls 911. Responding to that call were New Jersey State Police.
The sergeant that called me said the body was found beneath the Delaware River Turnpike Bridge.
The bridge is the connection between Pennsylvania and New Jersey. There's people that use that 10 times a week to go back and forth, home to work, in both directions.
I was advised that we had a possible suicide. Upon looking at her, you see she was a small white female. There are some decomposition factors on her face. It looked like she had been there for a few days, at least. She was about 100 pounds, in her early 20s. She had brown hair. She was wearing jeans. Her sweater was pulled off of her as though she was trying to get away from someone.
There was no purse, no wallet, no identification found on the body. But she's wearing a silver butterfly necklace, which is unique and certainly could help identify her.
She had blood spatters on her shoulder and the back of her neck. And there was indentations into the ground from her knees hitting the ground. There were no drag marks, tire marks. I knew right away she came from the bridge above. We've had suicides from that bridge before, but normally in a suicide, a person drives there and exits their car and they would jump from the bridge. This seemed suspicious because there were no cars up there. So the fact that she didn't have any shoes on was troubling. Her socks were white and they were clean. They were almost pristine. They would have been embedded with stones or dirt from walking around on top of the bridge. We knew something wasn't right there.
Police go up to the bridge and they're hoping to find some kind of indication of whether she fell, whether she was dumped, whether there was a struggle. Along the side of the bridge, they find some blood and some sweater fibers that may match the sweater they find on the river.
Doctors send it for DNA analysis. If they match up with the body, that means definitively that she was in that location on the bridge and thrown off the bridge.
We also saw that a couple of her fingernails were broken off, like as though she was in a fight. The CSI detectives put paper bags around her hands to preserve any trace evidence or any DNA evidence. Looking at all of this is looking to be that this was foul play. But at this point in our investigation, we have to ID her and we have to find out who's the last person who saw her alive.
Law enforcement turned to the media, both in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania, to see if anybody could identify the victim based upon the limited information that we did have.
We gave a description of her jewelry, the butterfly pendant. Within a matter of hours, her boss called and gave us a name, Rachel Siani.
He also told the police that Rachel Siani was last seen on March 29th at 2:30 a.m.
She worked 3 days before her body was found. They haven't seen her since. We started doing lookups on her and found out that she lived near Bristol Township, Pennsylvania.
There was a fundamental question as to whether New Jersey had jurisdiction, meaning Burlington County, New Jersey, or Pennsylvania, meaning Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
But since we had the body, the New Jersey State Police was responsible for investigating her death. Bristol Township is right on the border of Pennsylvania. I worked a couple cases with them, and we had a good relationship. just finding her way through life.
By May, she was going to Bucks County Community College studying psychology. And she was very committed to getting her degree.
Rachel wanted to be a musical therapist and actually work with children that may or may not have special needs, and she just loves every single aspect of it.
We also found out that she was able to pay for her tuition by working in the evening at Diva's Gentlemen's Club in Bristol Township, Pennsylvania. Her parents were not accepting of that, but she was 21 years old. They understood that she could make her own decisions.
The family felt that working at a strip club would expose Rachel to unsavory characters. That puts her in a situation that she's at risk, and they learned she was killed.
Aware of the dangers of working in adult entertainment, Detective John Villamil heads to the Gentlemen's Club in search of answers.
When we arrived, Beavers was just buzzing with activity. Multiple girls on the dance floor, patrons, giving girls money, eating, drinking, coming in and out. We knew we had our work cut out for us.
The boss told detectives she was a fan favorite. Men came just to see her, and that her car was still in the parking lot.
Rachel's boss told police that her car had been parked in the club's lot for 2 days, and that she missed work, and that was something that she never did.
When I seen her car the first day and then the second day, I had a really bad feeling. That car was her lifeline. She took it to school, work, home. I was hoping that it just broke down, but that's not what happened. When I first found out that Rachel had been killed, that made me sick to my stomach. That made me think that poor little girl lay down there for God only knows how long. She was about 4'9", a little glass of spunkiness. By day, she was Rachel Stanley, and by night, she was Foxy Roxy. She was the girl next door, people loved it. That's what drew her customers in.
Rachel Scotty was mischievous, adorable, sweet. She was somebody you cared about and liked. You wanted to protect her. Sometimes the DJ would be calling for Rachel. Somebody go yell in the back. She should have been up on stage 30 seconds ago. Where's Rachel? Well, you know where she is. She's back there. She's got her head buried in a book, doing homework. Does somebody go give her a kick in the rear end and get her on that stage? She was absolutely gorgeous, and she did herself up. There wasn't a better looking girl in that place. As a dancer, she played around. She wasn't dirty. She was just overplaying a little bit.
Being an exotic dancer complicated the investigation.
So that's 2 1/4.
Because of the fact that there was a possibility that Rachel just fell in with some shady characters who showed up at the club.
With a better picture of who Rachel was at work,
That's not 2 1/4.
detectives turned their attention to her car, which is still sitting in the club's parking lot.
Just looking in the window, you can see that there's money strewn about with food. It almost looked like someone was going through it but didn't take anything.
The car itself was run over by the forensic team.
There was no evidence that indicated any foul play. And if it was a robbery, the money would be gone.
In the grand scheme of things, there wasn't really much that was gleaned from the search of the car.
Sometimes establishing a boundary can be difficult for young dancers, in particular with the clients, but also with coworkers. Police learned that one of Rachel's coworkers developed an unhealthy infatuation with her.
Several of the dancers and the manager of Divas alerted us to the cook, Jason.
As soon as they said that her body was found, I immediately thought was absolutely obsessed with Rachel would come out of the kitchen when she was on stage, like very inappropriate. And she was getting uncomfortable ordering food because he kept hitting on her and asking her out on dates, and she didn't want anything to do with it, but she also didn't want to hurt her feelings because she's a nice girl. Rachel let it lie for a little bit, but then he had crossed the line and had to grab her. She eventually went to management and let them know that she was starting to feel uncomfortable, and they had fired him. So in my mind, he was upset that he got fired, and he came back for her.
At one point, his obsession for her got to the point where he threatened to kill himself if Rachel wouldn't go out with him or have a relationship with him.
To police, this certainly got their attention.
She had injuries to the left and right side of her head, which are not consistent with a fall from a bridge.
So instead, he throws you out the window from the second floor into the parking lot.
He just didn't have any respect for her life or life in general.
Prices are up. Like at Metro, we lower prices. One line of unlimited 5G is now $40, period. And a free Samsung 5G phone, only at Metro. It's just
I think it's right. Well, this is harder than I thought.
American Home warranty. Leaky toilet, fixed. Clogged AC coils, fixed. Oven beyond repair. Ta-da! If AHS can fix your comfort item, then replace it, no matter its age.
A warranty is smart.
Oh, the happy family. Is that us? Too much? American Home Shield. Sign up today at AHS.com. Care about your skin? Maybe it's time to think about skincare differently. My tip. Skincare starts here, in the laundry room. Use All Free Clear, the detergent made for sensitive skin from the start. It's free from dyes and fragrance allergens found in leading scented detergents. For an effective skin-friendly clean, switch to the #1 brand recommended by dermatologists. Wash with All Free Clear.
Ooh, I don't think they take that here.
Of course they take Discover. Stuck in the past, baby.
You're the one who owns 13 pairs of parachute caps?
And these are my 14.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places nationwide.
Mopping is hard work, but I thought it was the only way I could get my floors truly clean. And then I tried the Swiffer Power Mop and realized I can get clear floors without the extra work. It has a built-in solution that breaks down dirt on contact. And it tags underneath strips and scrub away city messes even from robots. Plus, it's 360 degrees low end, things up along baseboards, and even behind the toilet. So ditch the bucket and all the hard work that comes along with it. With the Swiffer Power Mop.
That's the sound of happy at DQ. Get what makes tasty chicken strips with fried Texas toast and DQ signature country grade for just $7.49. For crunch time, pick it up and be the DQ chicken strip basket.
Making something truly original isn't easy, but finding it is, especially when it starts on Etsy.
Was she fearing for her life, or was she executing a thorough plot?
Some days,
Everything was just too damn big.
dangerous things,
Dusty battles, cord.
consequences.
Kind of went inside the line there, didn't I? That sucks.
She was the puppet master. Episodes Sundays at 6 on Oxygen True Crime. Stream past on Peacock.
It's been 24 hours since the body of 21-year-old dancer Rachel Siani was discovered flown from the Delaware River Turnpike Bridge. She was last seen 2 days earlier on Wednesday, March 29th. Detectives set their sights on a former co-worker from the Gentlemen's Club where they had both worked. He had become obsessed with Rachel in the months leading up to her death.
During the initial part of the investigation, some of the employees say that there was a cook by the name of Jason. He had this obsession with Rachel. He kept bothering her. She had to tell him to leave me alone. She complained about him, and eventually he wound up getting fired. We thought it was him.
The police tracked him down. They interviewed him. He had a legitimate alibi that at the time that Rachel went missing, he had a new job and he was working there, and he had people who were able to verify that alibi.
After we were able to eliminate the cook as a possible suspect, the next thing we did was find out any of the dancers had any issues with Rachel.
These dancers are getting paid tips. They're getting paid for the attention of men, and so the attention of the clientele can be a competitive situation. Police learned at times Rachel and some of the other dancers did not get along.
She did take them all from too many people, and I believe there was a death threat to Rachel from a dance raping.
There was one person who had it out with Rachel in the parking lot, such that Rachel actually had to hit her to stop her from being so aggressive. So this was another person of interest. The investigators needed to talk with her.
While officers tracked down the dancer and questioned her, the medical examiner's office reports back with its findings.
As a result of collecting evidence at the crime scene, we found out that it was Rachel's blood on the outside wall of the bridge, and those fibers on the edge of the wall were from her sweater.
What the medical examiner found was there was no indication of sexual assault, sexual abuse of any kind, but there was a tremendous amount of damage that had been done to Rachel's body.
Her body was just mangled. Her legs were broken, her ribs were broken, her clavicle was broken as well. She had injuries to the left and right side of her head, which are not consistent with a fall from a bridge.
The medical examiner found that there was also strangulation, and that was not the cause of death, but that was enough to make her pass out.
The medical examiner also determined that her heart was still pumping when she fell from the bridge. She was likely unconscious when she fell, and it was the impact with the ground that killed her.
It became apparent that Rachel was dumped off the bridge.
This information that we learned from the medical examiner told us that she received some of these injuries at another location.
Now, detectives need to figure out not only who killed Rachel Ciani, but where she was assaulted. So far, none of them has paid off.
And we ultimately found out that this dancer, Rachel, allegedly had punched her in the stomach, was not involved in her death.
The police are checking into all the leads that they have, but any potential suspects are being cleared because of their alibis and their verified.
With no other solid lead coming in, Detective Phillips checks with the Bristol Township Police Department to see if they've recently responded to any calls at the club.
They learned that 3 nights before she was found, there was a Bristol Township officer who was at Viva's after Viva's shut down on the night Rachel was last seen.
While he was there, he observed a man banging on the outside door around 2:30 in the morning. As he was getting out and walking over, 2 women identified as Becky Yavorsky and Rachel Ciani came out of a car and walked over and started talking to this individual and the police officer, and they let him know that they knew him. He's a regular patron there. He was intoxicated, he was agitated, he wanted to get back into the club, and the girls calmed him down.
At that point, the manager from Peters went to the back door. They saw who it was. They told the police everything's okay. We don't need your assistance.
There was a hotel next door to the Econo Lodge where people stayed overnight and drank too much, who were regulars at
hotel room, we learned that his name was Jack D'Onofrio. At this point in the investigation, we had to find him. He's one of those people that was last seen with Rachel, and maybe the last person who saw her alive.
Vanessa's will be right in.
Hey, I heard you're retiring soon. You excited?
Yeah, Doc, but there's so much to consider. Medicare, finances. Oh, and I lose my dental insurance.
You can get your own from Physicians Mutual. Easiest decision ever. It's real dental insurance that's real affordable. Well, I think my work here is done.
Wait, what?
Hey, I heard you're retiring soon. You excited?
Affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. One of the easiest retirement decisions you can make. For a free information kit, call now. This dental insurance helps cover over 400 procedures. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. See any dentist you want with no deductibles and no annual maximum.
Well, I think my work here is done. Wait, why?
To get your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now matters because now we have treatments. Now we'll see you change because now we're making it. So now it's time to move. With your community, you're equipped at the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's. Join the line at alz.org/walk.
And then go here.
We lower prices. One line of unlimited 5G is now $40, period. And a free Samsung 5G phone only at Metro.
I've been using the GLP-1 injections through hers. I have lost 30 pounds.
Hers has changed my life.
I fell back in love with myself. See if GLP-1s are right for you. Start today at forhers.com.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to cut that line. Okay. Let's go with the sideline. No, let's go these first. Any comments?
When Lila was ready to sell her ring, she
Still the
sent
same
it to her
comment.
couple, where they took care of everything and auctioned it on her terms. Then, Worthy sent Lila her money. You're worthy of more. Get started at worthy.com.
Introducing Stova, keeper of curl with adjustable medical grade support, engineered with fast-rate cables that reinforce the body, designed to help you overcome injuries, cause pain, and regain the confidence to get back out there. Learn more at Stova.com.
I've been using the GLP-1 injections through hers. I have lost 30 pounds.
Hers has changed my life.
I fell back in love with myself. See if GLP-1s are right for you. Start today at forhers.com.
I've always wanted to know. I do know a law firm. I used to be a tax lawyer. You know, this movie, it's got all the stuff. Daddy. That's how you look around this the base finest thing. So as a law firm, I'm really curious about what's going on here. Well, my nipples are hard.
The new series premieres August 15th on USA.
We found out Rachel Siani and another dancer were in the parking lot when they saw some man was banging on the back door of the gentleman's car. Ultimately, things settled down such that Rachel agrees to escort this gentleman to his room in the motel that's next door. It's the last time that Rachel Siani is seen alive. The fellow dancer was interviewed, Becky, and the club owner both identified the person that Rachel was with as Jack D'Onofrio. Jack D'Onofrio owned his own sign business, and he certainly was making enough money to afford to live in a high-end home in Buckingham Township, and for him to put out $300 a night at Divas really didn't affect his bank.
He's 30 years old, white guy. He looked like the average businessman. To me, I knew he was married. knew when Jack had enough. Like, Jack, maybe you need to stay in the room.
At times, the club employees, they would just hold on to the keys to his truck for him.
Jack was on a friendly, personal level with all of us. We had fun with him and we would laugh with him, and even though he was a customer, we didn't look at him as a customer, if that makes any sense. He was kind of like, he hung out with us all the time. He was at my first birthday party, like, Jack was Jack. We were one big family.
The manager of Divas was very familiar with Jack. He was friendly to them, he was a regular. He took care of the girls, he tipped them well, and he behaved himself while in the club.
They only had eyes for one person, that was Rachel.
He would definitely use his money to get people going. He would say, here's $100, go in the back, tell Rachel to come out here. He just wanted her to be in his presence. Just for her to come out and hang with him or drink with him or dance for him. What I think about it is, it's kind of like a therapist at times, believe it or not. Just, we may or may not have our top fun.
She loved the money that he gave her, and she loved the fact that she didn't think she had to do anything to get it, because he never intimated for a second that she had to sleep with him or do anything, that he was happily married.
Rachel appreciated Jack, but she also would get extremely annoyed with Jack because he wanted what he wanted when he wanted.
This is Rachel drinks too much, and ultimately Rachel, in a kind-hearted way, is willing to walk him back because he's still intoxicated, walk him back to his room. But there's no expectation on her part that anything more is going to happen.
After working that night, Rachel's friend, Becky Jaworski, was a little apprehensive about her going with him, and she advised us that Rachel said that she would be okay walking Jack back to his hotel room. Everything would be fine.
She felt safe to go with him, and no one would have thought anything else. I didn't, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't.
Rachel said to Becky, we've done this more than once, I'll be fine. So Becky has her own car, she goes and leaves.
As Rachel and this man walked away toward the hotel, that was the last time she was seen.
We had to find out exactly what his conversation was with her and when he last saw her. We knew that we had to speak with Jack. Once we located where Jack lived, we stopped by his house and asked him to come to the Bristol Township Police Department to speak with us. And during that conversation, we explained to him what happened to Rachel and asked him if he had any involvement. His attitude was very impassive, like he had no feeling about it.
He was cooperative. He explained to them that, yes, Rachel walked me back to the hotel, but she never came up to my room.
While speaking with him, one of the detectives noticed that he had some scratch marks on his arm, which could have been indicative to possibly Rachel scratching him, and that's how she broke her nails off of her hand. He downplayed the scratches on his arm, didn't injure him at work at this line of business. When we started to press him, he said he didn't want to talk anymore, they were on his return.
His explanation was not unbelievable, but there was reason to have concern about that answer.
At this point in the investigation, it was several days after he was at the hotel. There were other patrons that were in that room as well, so we knew it was going to be difficult to find any trace evidence. We had to follow up immediately and get inside that room where Jack Knopf was staying.
Every Wednesday and Thursday, Oxygen brings you more twisted cases.
Kind of strange.
More secrets revealed.
He lived a life of a lot of smoke and mirrors. So he's a con man who fooled a lot of people.
The team you trust.
The team you trust.
Something
Yeah.
you see in the movies.
Any comments? Two people, you got questions?
True crime.
Gotta have a question. What's your question?
Prices are up, but not at Metro. We lower prices. One
Nope,
unlimited
no questions.
5G now $40, period. And a free Samsung
Well.
5G phone only at Metro.
My eyes, they're dry.
You want to hit the like button? How about that? Comment, like, subscribe. What's up?
Proven to help your
What's up?
eyes produce more of their own tears for lasting, continuous.
The best what's up was Joe Dirt.
Dry eyes.
Liquid, liquid. What's up? What's up?
Ever since we introduced him to the farmer's dog, it's changed his quality of life.
Those number twos are really getting better.
What do you think?
Better you.
Nobody? No Joe Dirt fans in here? No Joe Dirt? Anybody a Joe Dirt fan? Know what I'm talking about? What's up? What's up? Nobody?
That's the Lunchables effect.
Nope. No Joe Dirt. Gotta be a Joe Dirt fan in here.
We learned the uncontrollable movements are called tardive dyskinesia.
Should I use my scissors or the razor blade?
Mom was prescribed Austedo XR. A once daily extended
Let's see how the razor blade goes and then.
Austedo XR can significantly reduce TD movements, which seems to result as early as
Where's my
2
green?
weeks. And mom can stay on her mental health medications.
There's the green one. Didn't mean for that.
Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, muscles, problems thinking or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia.
UCTD. Ask about Austedo XR.
Oh, it's backwards.
Herbal Essences is a force of nature, made with supercharged botanical blends. Our sulfate-free formulas deeply penetrate to boost hair health.
Any
That's
questions?
the Salon Naturals price
Come on.
tag. Herbal Essences.
Hit the like button,
Yes.
please. What would it take to hit the like button? What would it take? Oh, poo. What would it take to not knock your stuff on the ground? Ostrich, by the way.
Baby, you're the one who owns 13 pairs of parachute pants? And these are my 14.
Yes, Western Diamondback.
Discover's accepted in 99% of places nationwide.
Love your plugins but wish you had more second? Meet the Febreze Plug Scent Booster. Enjoy the same 50 days of continuous scent with Febreze Plug, including a cord for flexible placement options and a boost button for extra scent. Febreze Plug Scent Booster.
I'm just gonna cut it out with scissors.
Rachel Ciani, Jack Denofa, has just lawyered up, refusing to talk to detectives. Meanwhile, officers were dispatched to the hotel where he stayed on the night of Rachel's disappearance, hoping to still collect vital evidence.
On Tuesday, April 4th, 3 days after Rachel's body was found, we went to the hotel to speak with the night manager about Jack's demeanor.
The clerk who worked that midnight shift knew Jack Denofa and was able to tell the police that, yes, I saw him check in and he requested a certain room, which was to the back on the second floor.
He had a normal check-in, he filled out a card with his
No
name,
questions?
description of his truck and license plate. So
We got one like.
he drove his
We got one
red
like.
Dodge Ram pickup truck that night.
It's only been an hour and 20 minutes. One like.
The manager didn't
Well,
notice anything out of the ordinary when he checked in.
that's YouTube.
But she noticed that he checked out early.
Man, YouTube is so
On this
hard to
occasion,
get
the clerk said to the police
subscribers,
that he left
comments, and
at about
likes and all that.
3:30 in the morning.
She said normally
Makes
if he was
me
trying to sleep off the
appreciate it a little
and
more, I
there's
guess.
really no reason that
when you
he
do
would
get
leave
'em.
in the middle of the night.
Normally, when he went to check out.
Making a guitar strap, by the way. He didn't ask, but I'm making a guitar
He
strap.
just threw the keys on the desk, and she remembers smelling like soap, like he had just taken a shower. And this was not his normal procedure.
There are no surveillance cameras at this hotel, so detectives desperately hope his room hasn't been cleaned yet, and that they'll be able to recover much needed evidence.
Investigators, and especially forensic investigators, really dislike going into motel rooms or hotel rooms days after an event happens in that room, because the fact of the matter is, other people have been there. It's been cleaned numerous just not going to have the evidence that you had if it had been preserved at the time of the event.
Okay.
When we entered the room that Jack stayed in, room 223, we did find a little stain in the shower stall, which looked like it was blood.
They swabbed the blood and they sent it to the lab.
After looking at the room, we decided to go in the back parking lot just to see if we could find anything. And while I was walking
Yes, I
inside,
like that a lot. That's what it's going to look like. All right, you can say that you were here when it all came together.
Investigator Venable showed that he was such a great investigator.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. It might be a little too long at the top.
when I bent down and I took a piece of white paper and rubbed it had like a reddish brown tint to it. And so when the crime scene
Oh, come on. Hit the like button. Ask a question. Ask a question. Anybody? Anybody? Like in a comment? Like in a comment? Nope. What a tough crowd, man. Tough crowd. Alright. So,
now at this point, we're thinking, since
that'll go there.
Rachel leave, that maybe he had lowered Rachel's body outside the window and somehow her body fell. We don't know yet. We have to see how this blood comes back.
As evidence starts to point more toward Jack Denofa, detectives lean in on two important pieces of information. One, they know Denofa drives a red military pickup. And two, they know what time he checked out of the hotel. The next step is to find out if at any point that morning his vehicle was driven over the bridge where Rachel was found.
In 2000, we knew New Jersey didn't have video surveillance at the Delaware River Turnpike interchange. So we were
So that'll go down like that.
video footage on the Pennsylvania side at the tolls. But unless you know exactly what you're looking for and the time frame.
But I think I'm going to add a little red to it.
We knew that Jack Denofa was driving, so we had a trooper view video from that time frame to look for Jack's truck. And we went through this footage slowly, frame by frame. And during the assignment, we found a red pickup truck going through the toll plaza, and the lights light up the back of the truck where you can see a small female wearing jeans and a sweater, and you can see white socks. So it's identical to the clothing that Rachel was wearing when her body was found underneath the bridge.
The video is time-stamped, March 29th, 4 a.m. It certainly looked like it was a smoking gun.
Herbal essences is a force of nature, made with supercharged botanical blends.
Now I got to figure out how to get this cemented down without injuring anything.
And swelling from active psoriatic arthritis. Imagine being a million miles away.
Because if I don't clean that surface off, it just won't stick. Them's just the facts, man. Because it will not stick to this. It just doesn't. It'll stick to this easily, of course, but not right here. So, gotta figure that part out. Don't know how to do that really. So I can take this.
One line of unlimited 5G is now $40, period. And a free Samsung 5G phone only at Metro.
Let's flip back around. Here we go. Let's try this.
Stuck in the past, baby.
You're the one who owns 13 pairs of parachute pants?
And these are my 14.
Discover's accepted with 99% of prices nationwide.
The new DQ Reese's Caramel Crunch Blizzard Treat is the perfect blend of Reese's and caramel.
through hers, I have lost 30 pounds. Hers has changed my life. I fell back in love with myself. See if GLP-1s are right for you. Start today at forhers.com.
I will give you $100 for every question answered correctly in this 28-degree ice bath.
Yes.
So how do I clean that off?
First question. How many subscriptions
Any
are you
idea?
paying for? 3? Let's download Rocket Money and see if you're right. Oh, you're actually paying for 15 subscriptions, and that's costing you $269 a month.
Yeah.
I'll give you another chance. How much did you spend on takeout last week?
Like $60.
And wrong. It was actually $340.
The app is telling you all this?
Yeah, it shows you all your upcoming expenses in one place, including subscriptions you forgot about. And if you see a subscription that you no longer want, you can cancel it right from the app. It also helps you create a budget so you don't overspend. And it can even negotiate your bills for you.
Oh, that's great. Can I get out now? Please?
I have been using the GLP-1 injections through hers. I have lost 30 pounds. Hers has changed my life. I fell back in love with myself. See if GLP-1s are right for you. Start today at forhers.com.
I've always wanted to be a lawyer. You don't know the law firm. You could be a taco nut. You know, it's a Ruby. It's got balls.
Daddy.
Start Monday.
Okay, now I'm scraping the excess off the snake skin so that the contact cement will stick to it. Kind of a weird thing to have to do, but otherwise the contact cement will only stick to the scales and not the other piece of leather, or the ostrich, excuse me.
Nearly a week after Rachel Ciani's body is found on the New Jersey side of the road, police zero in on club patron Jack Denofa as a suspect. After learning about his suspicious behavior at the hotel and bloodstains outside of his room, detectives poured through bridge camera footage and confirmed that Denofa's truck is seen crossing the bridge. They are stunned to spot a body in the back.
The pickup truck was going through the toll booth, headed toward the
Thanks for the
bridge
like.
toward New Jersey.
Got one like.
And then you see, as you watch the video a little bit longer, that
Questions?
coming back,
Comments?
10 minutes later,
Likes?
from New Jersey to
Subscribes?
Pennsylvania toll booth is
No.
the same truck. However, there's
Fair
no
enough.
body in the back.
Okay, so let's do this again. I'm trying to watch for comments.
So the next step was to put together a search
Okay.
warrant for
This
the
here.
red pickup truck.
This here.
We seized the truck he was driving to have our crime scene analyzed. At first glance, when we looked at the truck, it was obvious that he got it detailed. It was clean. You could see it was polished. It had fibers from polishing cloths on the front of the truck.
Crime scene techs can be very dogged in their efforts. And one of them notices that the bed liner of the pickup truck is not quite properly installed.
He decided to lift it. As soon as we lifted this bed liner, you can see what looked like dry blood.
It's important to remember at this point
Okay,
that the
so
medical
we'll clean up
examiner
these
has already
sides.
determined that the victim is still bleeding before she's thrown off the side of the bridge. This blood is moving around. As the vehicle drives, you can see that it's stopping and starting and dripping and running along the seams, along the paths of the wheel well.
I went underneath the truck, and I looked behind the bumper where the license plate rack was, and I could see hair and more dry blood.
The crime laboratory does the DNA testing. They determine that the blood in the truck is positively identified as Rachel's, as is the blood stain in the parking lot. At that point, the case is just coming together, pointing to Jack Denofa as being the murderer.
At this point, police know that Jack Denofa had a relationship with the victim, that he stayed at the hotel, that he left early, that there was blood found outside the window of his hotel room. that there was blood of the victim found in his pickup truck, and that pickup truck came back over from New Jersey empty, and that Rachel was found at the bottom of the bridge. For prosecutors, this is enough.
The New Jersey prosecutor from Burlington County confirmed that we needed to charge Jack D'Onofrio with first-degree murder. Approximately a week after her body was found, a detective from Bucks County District Attorney's Office, myself and other detectives from the state police went to Jack D'Onofrio's house at approximately 3 o'clock in the morning, knocked on the door, woke him up, and advised him that he's under arrest for the murder of Rachel. He didn't say anything. He didn't say he didn't do it. He just turned to his wife and said, "Call Pops." And then he was sent over to the Bucks County jail.
He was taken into custody on charges having been filed in New Jersey, but held in Pennsylvania until such time as extradition can be arranged.
We had a payphone in the dressing room. I'm not sure who called, but we got a phone call saying Jack did it. And I was in utter disbelief. I didn't do it. I never would in a million years thought he would hurt her. Ever.
Nobody thought that Jack would hurt Rachel. They thought he loved Rachel. There's no way he would do something like this.
Following his arrest, he agrees to speak to the
Comments?
investigators.
Questions?
And when
Concerns?
confronted, he says,
Other than the weight that I'm putting on, getting fat.
gave my keys to the owners of Divas because I don't want anybody to have me driving under the influence. And I went to my hotel room.
Jack claims
Looks
that
like
there
I'm
were
going down
ample
to the
opportunities
river.
for somebody to make a copy of his key, take his car, use it to do this horrible crime. He says he's innocent. And this is all set up.
He said, I want an extradition hearing because I didn't do this. And they have the wrong person.
It's the most bizarre case I've ever been involved with.
Every Tuesday, this had a lot of twists and turns. Catching bone-chilling episodes
They almost look like chainsaw marks.
of the classic true crime series.
Is there skin? Is there hair? There may be bits of material from the scene.
Without the forensic evidence, I don't think it would have been an arrest.
You can't fool science. Forensic.
Okay, now I'm gonna put. Oh man, now's the hard part. Nobody's here to witness it.
Ooh, I don't think they take that here.
Of course they take Discover.
Stuck in the past, baby. You're the one who owns 13 pairs of parachute pants?
And these are my 14.
Discover is accepted in 99% of places nationwide.
Wow.
Have to get real in here.
Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has wavy edges that tear so much better. It's starting to get teary away.
Designed with smooth tear edges, only Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has wavy perforations that tear so much better for a smooth, more enjoyable go. Plus, it has more cushiony softness than ordinary squares. Try Sherman Ultra Soft Smooth Tear, voted #1 product of the year. Still searching for the one? Olay Super Cream with SPF. The power of 5 in 1 super cream. To hydrate, smooth, brighten, firm, and protect. You just drinks it in. It blue cells for more resilient skin. It's super cream. Only Olay.
Hey there, this is Dolly, coming to you straight from Nashville.
Stand up to cancer.
Join us Friday, August 15th for one night only and for one goal only to beat cancer.
We are going to beat cancer because we are stronger when we stand up together.
So stand up with all of us and let's save lives together. If we join forces, we can end cancer forever. So tune
That would be cool.
in.
I hope they come up with a cure for cancer. It's so terrible.
Prices are up, but not at Metro. We lowered prices. One line of unlimited 5G is now $40, period. And a free Samsung 5G phone only at Metro.
The first time you try Bounce, it hits you.
put all that on here.
So you start to wonder.
I'm getting that stuff everywhere, man.
Will it make the office dog less? Can't do it all, but fresher, softer, better laundry. Incoming dishes. Dog power wash flies to 99% grease and grime in half the time. Grease 5 times faster. Even replaces multiple cleaning products. Oh, so it's got game. Dawn power wash. Grease getter. That's the sound of happy at DQ. Get white meat seasoned chips with fried Texas toast and DQ signature country gravy for just $7.49. For brunch, it can also be the DQ chicken strip basket.
Homicide suspect Jack Denofa maintains he has nothing to do with the murder of Rachel Ciani. He fights extradition to New Jersey, insisting he's been set up.
Jack says, maybe somebody at the club took his keys when he left them there.
We spoke to the people at Divas, and they recalled that they didn't take his keys that night.
This claim that Jack Denofa was making was outrageous.
The judge ruled that he should be extradited. And ultimately, the trial took place in Burlington County, New Jersey. The crime was laid out essentially that Rachel walked him back to the hotel room and went inside with him to make sure that he was okay.
Man, this was the hardest part. Nobody's even in here to watch it.
He thought this was his opportunity to have sex with her.
Okay, here we go. Man, this is gonna be difficult.
Which she passes out from. He thinks that she's dead. He needs to dispose of what he thinks is a dead body. He doesn't want to walk through the hotel carrying this body, so instead throws her out the window from the second floor into the parking lot.
She lands on her head, crushing herself, creating that massive blood below the window. He then comes outside, picks her up, and shoves her into the bed of his truck.
He checked out of the hotel room early. He went through the hole, drove over the bridge, and he draped her lifeless body, not knowing that she was still alive, over the bridge wall and flipped her over. And then that's when he took off and drove on the New Jersey Turnpike and went home and cleaned his truck.
She landed on the landmass in Burlington County, New Jersey, and the rest became history.
It was obvious to Jack that Rachel was just a possession. He really didn't care about her, how he disposed of her body. He just didn't have any respect for her life or life in general. And he was pretty much emotionless during the trial.
To see Jack at the defense table, it was sickening, to be honest. I mean, it was unconcerning a little bit, and it was a little intimidating because I was thinking this was once somebody that I knew or thought I was a friend with, and he didn't, my friend.
Clearly, Jack Denofa was a good neighbor, a good person, people that did things.
Oh, come on.
But at the same
Where's
time,
that piece of leather I was using?
and he drank to excess, he was a mean drunk. And in this case, he was a dangerous drunk. There should be no empathy for Jack Denofa. He was a cold-blooded, calculated murderer.
In November 2002, nearly 2.5 years after Rachel's death, Jack Denofa was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 30 years to life in prison.
It took about 45 minutes for the jury to convict Jack Denofa, and I was relieved. We finally caught the killer. He's going to go to jail and can't do this again.
Let me tell you, when Rachel died, the owner owners of that club lost their heart for that business. They sold that place not long after that.
We have a young woman, 21 years old. She had a whole life to live in front of her. She wanted to not only make a whole life for herself, but for people who needed assistance with mental health issues, because that's what she was studying.
She was striving to achieve that goal and someone worked it right out from under her. If she was still around, she'd definitely be doing her music therapy. It is sad because she was so passionate and wanted to help kids, and music was in her soul, and that's what she just wanted.
I'm Craig Melvin, and this is Deep.
I go inside and I see the rice burning on the stove. I went through the house, but she wasn't home. I called her phone, it was off.
In my mind, it was the worst place possible.
They said, we found your mom's car burned. And I said, what?
That's a heavy, heavy phone call.
Very, very heavy.
You are discovering this tense relationship.
Correct, yes, based on text messages.
Messages like, leave me the F alone.
Yes.
She called to tell me that I feel like someone is following me.
Our minds are churning.
These Google coordinates led you pretty far out of town.
Actually, the suburban folk area.
This was a game changer, what you discovered here.
100%.
They're wearing masks. They grabbed her and they wrestled her.
At that moment, all the world came crashing down.
This was an evil act. Heartbreaking.
Hello, and welcome to Deep. Tahira Qassemi loved climbing mountains back home in Iran, but she moved to America to be closer to her son, Ahmed. Family was Tahira's reason for being. Then, she disappeared. As clues emerged, investigators discovered Tahira had been the target of a decades-long deception and a bone-chilling conspiracy that threatened all she held dear. Here's Andrea King with the ultimate betrayal.
On the banks of the Mississippi River, an only in America story of hard work, ambition, and financial reward. But percolating just beneath the surface, this success story had a dark side. Money, power, and greed. This is one twisted family drama.
From beginning to end of it.
Before the ending, with all its horror and heartbreak, there was a simple dilemma. A son trying to get out of dinner with his mom.
I got a text message from her that said, I'm going to be cooking kebabs tonight. What time are you coming home? Not sure.
Ahmed Qassemi and his mother Tahira lived together in a comfortable house in one of Baton Rouge's better neighborhoods, a long way from their native Iran. Tahira was a doting mom who often cooked for her adult son. She expected him to be home a lot. But for a 38-year-old man, all that attention could be smothering.
It was to the point that I was feeling like my mom wanted me to just work and come and stay in the house and do nothing else.
So on the night of April 11th, 2015, Ahmed decided to blow off dinner. Instead, he met friends for dinner at a daiquiri bar, then later went out for sushi. What time did you come home?
I didn't come home till later on.
And when he pulled into the driveway,
Something didn't seem right because her car wasn't there.
Ahmed says he went inside and found a pot of rice cooking on the stove, but no sign of his mother. Most people do not leave hot pots on a burning stove.
Under the thing was very, very low. So I kind of thought about it and I said, okay, maybe she left without turning the pot off.
He turned off the stove and looked around. What about
TV except for my bed cover, which she had told me that she was gonna go be buying me a new bed cover.
But it's missing.
So it's missing.
He says it wouldn't have been the first time his mother spent the night at a girlfriend's house. He figured maybe that's where she went. So you're not in a huge panic
No,
at this point that your mom's not there.
no.
Oh,
The next morning, Ahmed still hadn't heard from her.
that's
That's when
enough
he
for
noticed her
tonight,
purse
I'd
was
say.
in the house. He says she never went anywhere without it. Did you try calling your mom again?
Not till that afternoon. And then it didn't, no answer. So I called her work and they said, oh yeah, Miss Sato, she was here.
Okay.
So
you're thinking she's fine.
she's fine. She's just mad because, you know, I didn't come home last night on time, so she's not answering me.
But when she didn't come home again that night, he says he finally started to worry. He called her friends, and none of them had any idea what to do with ID. So the following morning, he drove to the Walmart where his mother worked.
I went to her work at 5:45 in the morning and, you know, I asked to check the schedule and the manager comes in and I say, hey, you know, I called yesterday and y'all told me my mom wasn't working. I haven't heard from her and they went through the record and they said no.
So she really hadn't been there.
So she hadn't been.
So it was a mistake. That gives me chills that this whole time you're thinking she's fine and you got some bad information.
Yes. Right away I contacted the police and the police came to my house.
Captain Todd Morris of the East Baton Sheriff's Department would become the lead investigator. He focused on the fact that Tahira's car was missing, a 2004 blue Jaguar. Are you thinking that maybe someone stole her car?
Well, it could have been. She could have been a victim of an armed robbery or carjacking.
But after a quick look around, he decided that didn't make sense.
Why would she leave her purse? Why would she leave her identification? Okay, if she was driving her vehicle, her personal